Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Torment, Tides of Numenera. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you're to join me today here in the 5th Eye again. It's been a while. We've been here since 4 episodes ago, more or less. Not really just here, but mostly we've been talking to a bunch of very interesting people around here. This is a place of psychers. That guy is smoking green stuff that apparently melts the floor when he spits out the... It's terrible. I don't even know what... I don't know. Anyway, if people think smoking is bad for your health, then they should meet that guy. Although he doesn't show signs of detrimental health. But we are gonna talk here with Dama again, because last episode we were talking about the people around here, and we asked about people that weren't even real, and we're still looking for the adversary that he's looking for himself. Apparently we need to do his work for him, and that's okay. That's okay. He can't come to a conclusion himself, and that's fine. Tell me about Theborus over there. Theborus, despite his terrible complexion, gaunt face, bird-like nose, and questionable taste in haberdashery. Actually, I'm trying to think of any redeeming qualities that might offset all of this. I'm right here, you know. He ignores his friend. Ah, yes. Despite all these obvious disadvantages, Theborus has become one of the preeminent warriors of language in the entire world. You can laugh, but the old saying is undeniably true. The tongue with a word is deadlier than the hand with a sword. Well, unless the sword hand gets to you before you can make someone else get in the way, he mutters. Someone else get in the way? Yeah. He can plant words in your mind that will activate and weaponize your body against itself. With a word, he can spin illusions inside your skull. He knows the hidden receptors and compartments of the mind, and he can whisper lock you're dead. That's a fair enough assessment, hey? And his friend nods. What about Ziob over there? Well, let's not, says Ziob. Nonsense! Ziob is our enforcer, our telekinetic. She summons visions for us to distract our foes, projects deadly energies, and harnesses the power of the physical world to anchor us, our enemies, while we deliver the killing blow. She also lets us focus our energy through her. She is what you might call our weapon, our heavy weaponry, because she makes the immaterial world much more tangible. While we frolic in the playgrounds of the mind, she is concerned with more earthly matters. Well, how poetic, says Ziob. You old scholark. Truly, you took the words straight from my, why, you dirty thief. He holds his hand up in surrender. You are practically shouting, Ziob. In her mind, I suppose. How can I help but listen? How could I help but listen? Yeah. What about Feriok, the guy over there, the owner of the bar? Dama doesn't look towards the bar, but his mood turns somber. True empath. Our spotter, back when he could do the work. A brave man, aware of the risks he took. Physically sensitive, able to catch the lure of the adversaries and willing to run with it. If it hadn't been for him, we'd never have any success, or have the success we did. He looks down at the table. The last one we fought caught him. It took his, Ziob steps in. It took some of the things that make him special. You can't spot for us anymore. His powers aren't what they were. He's a shadow of his old self. Well, but the old kissed sucker has our thanks anyway. Theborus raises his glass towards the bartender and drops it on the table as Zio punches his arm. Ow! That's bad luck, you know. Don't you speak an ill word about him, Theborus. Not after what he did. Well, you know how I feel about Feriok, Ziob. He swishes the liquid left in his glass, his head and voice lowered. Before he lost his power, he was one of the best of our team. One of the best I've ever known. And they all nod. He cackles. Theborus does. But don't tell him I said so. Zio punches him again. I'm kind of warming up to this group of guys. So far we only met with him and with Leto, and we're going to ask about Leto in a little bit, and with Feriok. And Leto is wasn't kind of very warm or anything, but Feriok, sure, I suppose. I mean, we didn't notice that he wasn't what he used to be, but what about Leto? She's our seer, our prescient, says Dama. She knew where the adversaries were going to be. She knew when they'd be there, so we could set ourselves up in time. His voice is somber, but they grew wise to her. They threw themselves through probability space, played the game of maybe with her, and they were better than she was. Not so loud, murmurs Theborus. It wasn't her fault. Well, an adversary it was. Dama radiates tension. The adversaries got better than all of us. We're lucky they only... We're lucky we only took the losses we did. Oh, the losses? I guess, did you lose, guys? Anyway, yeah, those two guys, I mean, they maybe not... Maybe they're not here because they are different already. Because they lost part of who they were. Anyway, thanks for right now. And he nods. Okay, so let's have a chat with the only two people that we haven't talked to yet. And one of these has gotta be one adversary, or the adversary. A ghostly woman over there, that seems to be too... You know, that seems a red herring. And Almas, the soul keeper over here, that sounds weird, but let's see what she has to say. Or he has to say, I don't know. For a moment, you are not entirely sure if you look upon a construct or a human. The plastic sheen on this pale man's skin suggests artificiality, but if he is a construct, he is so cunningly constructed, so close to the human baseline that the illusion is nearly perfect. Except his head is a trifle too large, his eyes black buttons. When you realize the truth, he is a visitant. Then you realize the truth. He is a visitant, his home many millions of miles distant. Almas, my name. What can you tell me about yourself? He lifts his great head slowly and fixes you with a dolorous gaze. I am Almas. I am the keeper of souls, last of my kind, only survivor of a civilization that spanned time and space. Now they are gone, their stars black, reality's winds carry me. He turns his head back towards his drink. Okay, sure. What happened to your people? The highest caste of power, controlled we minds, ideas for all souls of empire, a great web we move, shining with power, but others, or other nodes, they winked away, until only I remained. Nodes? Oh, he's a node? His finger drum on the tabletop. An image of my people I carry, but no place to make it real. Our domain lost, I alone, and paralyzed with indecision and fear. He thinks, did I destroy them? I was not discontented. Or was I? How'd you get here? He looks around. Not my time, not my place. Yet when the connection to home broke, a beacon shone here. 5 minds drew me, a light in darkness. They were not a light to understand. They were safety. Oh, it's him. It's him. 5 minds. Yep. So Dama was talking about how the adversary is not necessarily evil. I made some reasonings around that, and apparently the reason was just foreshadowing of how exactly I should detect, if I'm correct, of course, how exactly I should detect the adversary, because I shouldn't be, I shouldn't be looking out for someone evil. Apparently this guy is he's just the last of his species. But because they killed everybody of the adversaries. The highest caste of power, he says, controlled we minds, or we controlled minds, ideas, for all souls of empire. It's a node. He has an image, so he has an image of the node, he has probably a backup or something. So they are, that's why they didn't know exactly what the adversaries were, because they are weird. Just, it's like a sort of data sphere. We also learned about the data sphere, which is a different thing, but so sort of like a data cluster, each one of them is, and then when they come together, they can just be something higher. There's a lot I could say about that, actually, but, yeah. When the connection to home broke, he says, a beacon shone. 5 minds drew me, a light in darkness. They were not a light to understand. They were safety, surety, while a new home I find. In this place I have clear thought, untarnished. Oh. So so he's not actually after them, but it's still the adversary, which kind of shines a different light on the whole thing. So how did your civilization die? A doubt arose, says Almas. It took seed, took flight. These thoughts connected to our network. These questions spread like disease. Trust, mistrust, rooted. Nodes decohered. Without nodes, without control of dreams, the civilization falls. And then they are gone. I alone remain. What was the doubt that destroyed your civilization? I do not know. I do not recall. And he thinks I know, I recall. He might be talking... The doubt might be what they put in them, how they worked their way around them. But they spoke around the adversaries, I mean. But they spoke of killing them in a way much more physical, like drawing them into our world and then killing them when they were here. So it's kind of more pragmatical how they approached the killing of the adversaries. I'm not really sure, but I would really like to pursue that, but apparently not. No, well, I can actually. How can you... I can. Yeah. How can you not remember the destruction of your civilization? I'm not gonna push forward. With that one right away, at least. It was sudden, says Almas. I watched it decohere. The stars winking black. I witnessed. A voyeur to utter destruction. I found its beauty before I knew. Marveled at its artistry. I saw more. Felt less. And then it was gone. I questioned the early blackness. I saw it and I did nothing. It was an emptiness, a sadness. A sorrow? Maybe. I denied its presence. When it spread, I watched. I did not know. Then why... Then tell me why you can't remember the doubt that destroyed your people again. No, actually, that's... Yeah. Tell me the doubt that destroyed your civilization. I know you know. I do, yes. It was my doubt. Mine. My question. I asked only... What if our way is not best? What if our people have desires of their own? Wants that we do not give? He places a single hand across his eyes and then slowly slides it away. The others began to see and question. Questions gave way to self-doubt. Self-doubt gave way to self-hate. I wanted only to know, what is best? How do we become better? Not to tear us down, but I shone a bright light on behavior, on truth. But our center could not hold under the truth. His wet, terrified eyes fixed on yours. Was I to blame? His civilization's end fixed on me. In dreams I see their faces, but not their minds. Tell me, truly, is the fault mine? Okay, so I need another one of these things. We still don't know how to do this. I can erase the doubt. That's quite a badass thing to do right there. So Men in Black, but, I think he was blameless in this. In more than one way. First off, if he's indeed part of the adversaries or whatever, then he wasn't the only one that played a hand. Even if he was to blame partially, but not completely, so that makes it not his fault. I mean, if he alone couldn't do it, it's just not his fault. It's like, oh, I stepped on this and I destroyed the world. Well, it's your fault because you stepped on that. If you wouldn't, you know, it's partially your blame, but it's not your blame because, you know, it's what I mean there. And the other thing is, if they destroy themselves, if they hated themselves when they finally figured out who they were, sort of, it's basically what happened, then it's a good thing. I suppose. I think you were blameless in this. He shakes his head. You seek to console. I do not believe. Well, No, you are not to blame. I'm not trying to console you. Your doubt couldn't have taken root if you hadn't already harbored their own doubts. Oh, that's a good point. Oh, perhaps, says Alma. Perhaps this is true, but what good are we if we share the same doubts? Better for us to find a new way, a new world. And he pulls his hands apart, and you have the sense of a vast network of power contained between them. He raises his hands before his face, and then he crumples his fist. The energy vanishes. I have severed the last connection, the last hope. If they exist still, they must exist without me. Let me be forgotten. No more, he whispers. No more. He drops his head and weeps. I think he was one of the adversaries, but let's try and ask Dama about that, because it might have been the case. So let's see. Yeah, I have another possibility for the adversary. That man in blue, yeah, Sir Arthur, with a pipe and all the strange Numenera. Could he be the adversary? I don't think so.
Remember that.
Sir Arthur? No. He's a wanderer and a collector of knowledge, but his interest appears to be entirely beneficent. He's a strange one, it's true, but no, he's not the adversary. Yeah, Alma's the soul keeper. What about him? I'm thinking there are two possibilities. It's either this, or of course the ghostly woman, who we haven't talked with yet. But it's also possible that I need to go through all of the possibilities, and after I'm done with that, somebody else appears, and we just get a big confrontation. Which,
I'll remember that.
what about Almas? He shakes his head. He's a tale of personal tragedy and sorrow, though perhaps the end result is not the worst for the people under his cast's title or care. But he is not the adversary. Okay, so it's just... it would have been interesting if he were. Because it's just an interesting story, I guess. I don't think he was to blame, but he's now... Hope can be very, very... Well, more often than not, hope is terrible. Pragmaticality is a thing that doesn't need hope to exist. I mean, it kind of breeds hope, but not, not the other way around. I think he was being pragmatical in what he decided to do, in what I told him. And now he will live on without hope of finding his people. But I think that's good for him, because it frees him. So I think that was a good choice that I did. Of course, I could have chose to blame him on that, but my decision was kind of a little bit shaped by my suspicion that he might be one of the adversaries. Let's have a chat with the ghostly woman. You draw closer, but the wispy form of the woman in the booth does not clarify. You can hardly discern the details of her ghostly face, and you hear a chorus of whispering female voices that swarm around her like chance moths. Oh man, can you imagine voice acting for this game just all over the place? I think it's good that this game doesn't have voice acting, because that way all the characters have interesting, weird voices. And, I mean, it would be interesting if they had the voices voiced, but it would be really terribly expensive with all the sound effects. And probably not even very good to listen to, because it's a lot of text, and it'd be... Well, the first line for each would have been okay, but I guess it's interesting to just imagine. Let's study your face more carefully. You peer more closely at the ghostly woman, and she takes no notice of you. Her features are those of a teenage woman, leaving childhood behind. Your memory sparks faintly. These clothes look familiar to you. Wait, is she the woman in my memory? They're familiar because they wore the fashion in Saga's Cliffs 9 centuries ago, and your mind has dredged that association from its depths. Let's listen to the whispers. They brush against your mind just below the level of conscious thought. You hear them, but not with your ears. You can only make out snatches of the whispers in your mind. You killed me, created me, never wanted to die. Who are you? She has been ignoring you, but without a transitional state, her face is suddenly and furiously focused on yours. Another flicker, and her hands wrap around your throat. Ghost or not, her fingers are very real, and they are choking the life out of you. So she's talking to the... She could be a cast-off, and I could let her strangle me. But what would the point of that be? I think I might be able to try to escape. No, that's not... Why would I need to... I need to ask the question the other way around. Why would I want to escape? I don't need that. Right? You get what I mean? So basically, the immediate reaction is always going to be to try and survive, right? Because, it's how you do. To let the ghost strangle you, I can't see a point in that. I can't see a point in letting the ghost strangle me. Unless there's possibilities, like she realizes what she's about to do and an interesting conversation happens, which is what I'm hopeful that will happen. But using might over here, there's really no reason for that. If I try to escape, what am I going to do? Am I going to fight her or something? So let's just let the ghost strangle me. Her fingers dig deeper. She's not just compressing your trachea, she's tearing your throat out. You choke and cough, drowning on your own blood, but she's latched inside you, and the last thing you see is a rage-twisted face.
I'm faltering. I'm hurt.
No, you are without a throat. Don't even bother speaking. Which also helps us come back over here, although I'm pretty sure we can come back. Oh! Oh, whoa. What happened? Is she in my mind? Ooh, see? I probably would have failed or something. The air is warm next to this machine, and you feel dizzy whenever you go near it. She is the adversary. Why is she so angry, though? I mean... Maybe... Okay, so I thought for a moment that this could have been the rearranged maze, because we talked to Dama about our maze in the maze in the head, but I don't think it is. Let me press tab over here just to see things, and also let me so that's to calm. What? To calm? What? Daughter's Fathom. Okay, so she's over there, being ghostly and all that sort of stuff, and scary as well, without transitions. That thing is scary. The air is warm next to this machine, and you feel dizzy whenever you go near it. Okay, let's feel dizzy then. I don't like feeling dizzy. It's terrible. What about the ghostly woman? Am I gonna fight her over here? But I'm alone. Well, it should be okay. Maybe I don't need to fight her. Let me just save the game and see what happens. So I died for the second time. Fantastic. It's the same ghostly woman who strangled you, but the fury is gone from her face, replaced with confusion. She looks around, her gaze falls on the large machine and lingers there. Finally, she notices you. She steps forward, a hint of trepidation in her eyes. Where are we? Do you know? How do I know that machine, she thinks. It frightens me and I don't know why. Yeah, there's another aspect to this, is that Dama told us that, that we could bring enemies to this place and fight them here. And I imagine it's not gonna be with actual combat. It's gonna be with just intelligence checks and all that sort of stuff. So I think no. Let's ask this. Don't you know? She looks around her again, mostly at the machine. It's strange, but there is something familiar about this place, though I recognize almost nothing in it. I do remember one thing. She puts her hand to the side of her head. I was angry, enraged. There are, and she turns on you, I don't know how, but there are women like me born throughout the city, repeatedly, against their will. And my memories are flitting back to me like flies, she thinks. What drove them away? So, are you a clone? What do you mean? They are compelled into existence, she thinks. She bites her lip, uncertain, then she nods. I'm just a memory, but something is forcing my memory into the minds of women throughout the city.
I'll remember that.
She takes your hand in hers. It's wrong, she says. I don't know how I know, but... She looks away, lost in her own thoughts. When she turns back to you, there's more certainty there in her voice. Find them. The women become like me, or already like me. Maybe I'll remember more. Maybe we can do something. How do I find these women? Well, they are in the real world, in Sagas. You may have even met them without realizing it. I only have vague impressions of them. I know that one of them is a leader. She has sacrificed much of her life, and so gained life in return. She shakes her head as though to clear it. I'm sorry, I can't tell you more than that. So do you have any more impressions of where I might find these women? One of them offers joy and sorrow for coin. Her family is not her own. It's borrowed, I think. She shakes her head as though to clear it. I'm sorry, I can't tell you more. One of them is dead. Well, she can, apparently. And yet a piece of her leaves. Find that piece. What? How am I gonna... I know that one of them is a leader. Okay, so we got a leader, we got a dead woman, and we have a trader of sorrow and joy, and with a borrowed family. Oh my god. Farewell. Don't forget, we must know more. I suppose... So this looks like... This cross, it looks like a cross, doesn't it? So you'd think like a church or something like that. And also, this looks like wood sort of planks, doesn't it? Although it might be a bug. I don't think it is, though. It looks too nice to be a bug. Because it does look like a bug of the game, and we saw that happen before. So let's go back to the world, and actually this is the calm. Okay, the calm it is. We're in the calm, and we're gonna find our old friend. Oh, am I glad you came out of that door. The thing just showed up. I didn't know what to expect. Do you know who the ghostly woman is in that phantom? He shakes his head. I don't know anything about that one. The way's blocked. Well, it's not surprising, really. It's your mind, not mine. No, it's your mind, not mine. Most likely she's just a lacuna, a construct of your buried memories. Either that, or she's a reflection of someone you met in real life. Whoever or whatever she is, she probably isn't real. You're the only one with that distinction. He chuckles to himself. And me, by extension. So what should I do now? Well, we need to find someone who can fix the chamber. I know, okay. And has anything changed since last I was here? He doesn't tell me anything. Okay, I'm ready to go. Farewell. Good luck. So this looks different. Why? Oh, we didn't come up here. Oh, it was locked. I remember. It was locked, that thing. So it means that, I suppose, there's gonna be a lot of connections, isn't there? This looks like it would connect it somewhere. But anyway, back to life we are. Our friends are gonna say, hey, I'm glad your throat just magically rearranged itself. Well, actually, how are we gonna live without a throat?
Handy trick, that immortality thing of yours.
Is it, Tibir?
Yes, lad?
Is it? By the way, is my Fettle gone? I think my Fettle is gone. He doesn't really care. How are you holding up, man? Well, I'm fine, lad. Just hope you won't regret. No, I won't. Let's continue on. Absolutely, no problem. Yeah, my Fettle's gone. Oh boy, that's just a critical success chance. Well, it's not too bad actually. But it's good that we got a mission by dying. Let's talk to her again, to the woman, if she's there. She's not, which means that the adversary is not here. Or at least he. Well, I still think that that this guy over here is the adversary. That Almas is. But well, let me save the game. Or maybe Ziob or Theberos are doppelgangers or something. Huh. I have another possibility for the adversary. There's a strange ghostly woman over there.
Making a note.
Ah, yes. While she's unpredictable and possibly dangerous, she's not an adversary. We've tried to remove her before, yet she always returns. Rather than risk any damage, we just stay out of her way. I'd advise you do the same. Okay, so why... Who am I missing? I'm not missing anybody. I talked to everybody in this place. Clarion, Almas, Izg, and these guys over here. So I'm thinking that maybe talking to Ziob and Theberos is gonna hold the key for this particular mission. Okay, sounds like a fun thing. Both of them looked interesting enough for me to just delve into their characters, but that's not gonna be for this episode. It's gonna be for the next one. For now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Torment, Tides of Numenera. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video, but above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.